Hey guys, so TMI Tuesday will be starting. I just don't know when, because this week I am ovulating, so like 2 weeks from now, whenever my cycle actually starts for cycle 11, that's when TMI Tuesday will restart again. Right now I'm just kind of waiting for AF. I am not TTCing this cycle because I will be in the city when I ovulate, so it's not worth trying to figure out how to get my donor to ship to the city. So today I just wanted to talk to you guys about adoption versus surrogacy and quitting adoption. I know that sounds like so horrible, but that's basically what I'm doing. Before I forget, I want to tell you guys that if you donated to the adoption fundraiser and because I'm quitting adoption you would like a refund, please just give me an email, thechoiceofmotherhood@gmail.com, and I will refund you for that. Just because I know people like put the money towards me adopting a child, and now most likely I won't be doing that. I will be doing surrogacy instead, or TTCing myself. So please just let me know. Send me an email, send me a message on here, send me a message on Facebook, wherever, Twitter, whatever, and I will give you a refund. But anyway, so adoption versus surrogacy. So as you guys know, I originally started off wanting to do surrogacy, and then with my friend not being able to be a surrogate, and surrogacy is so expensive, I ended up doing adoption. But now, just because my life is all a mess, I am quitting adoption, at least for now. I think I was a little too naive on how easy I thought adoption would be here. There's tons and tons of babies. There's so many babies that people give away and give to CFS and stuff like that, that I really thought like I would be, oh, here's an option. She wants a baby, here's a baby. I really thought that's how it would be, just easy like that, and I would find a baby in no time. And as you guys know, that hasn't been how it's been. Most of the babies have been given to CFS because the moms don't want the paperwork, because they're mad because they can't get money, for whatever stupid reasons. That's what's been happening, and it's really frustrating because the agency, I have no chance in hell of getting a baby through. There's over 100 families waiting, almost all of them couples, and the agency has never placed with a single person before. So it's not likely I'm going to get a baby. There's only like 14, 15 babies they place every year. So statistically, there's not a chance in hell. But I knew that, and I was going into it thinking I could either wait forever or I would find one here, and neither's working out. So anyway, I'm quitting it. So adoption versus surrogacy. So I'm just going to talk about the pros of adoption and the pros of surrogacy, because if I talk about the cons kind of counteract each other, if that makes sense. So the pros of adoption, one, the time. Once you have a match, usually there's only a few more months until you get the baby. It's not like TTCing or surrogacy where you're there from day one, and you have this long wait. Also coming with that is miscarriage. Usually by the time you get a match, the miscarriage risk is well over with, because usually they're in the second or third trimester already. So you don't have that fear of miscarriage. Of course, there's stuff obviously like stillbirths and whatnot, but it's less of a chance compared to surrogacy or TTCing, where you have it from day one. Also, the cost here in Canada, private adoption ranges around $20,000, but surrogacy is a lot more expensive at $60 to $90, especially if I have to use donor eggs, so a lot more expensive. And unfortunately, that is pretty much sums up my pros for adoption versus surrogacy. I know that sounds horrible, but really, I can't really think. The only reason I was going with adoption, other than I feel like my heart is in it, I just think I was so naive in thinking that it was going to be easy, or easier than surrogacy, or even TTCing. I thought it would be easier than TTCing, and clearly it hasn't been. Like, I've been so stressed out and everything. So I think that's like, I would like to adopt in the future. I will probably adopt, if I have a second child, I will adopt them, most likely from foster care, or do a foster to adopt, so I'd be their foster parent first and then end up adopting them. I don't know, but my heart's there, but my brain and my life is not in it. So anyway, pros of surrogacy. So my first pro is that you are there from the very beginning. I know that kind of counteracts my pro for adoption, but there's just something about being able to count the weeks and like experience that. Even if you're not carrying the child, just having that, like I have a pregnancy, I don't know if it's pregnancy week by week or something like that, and or countdown to pregnancy, something like that, and it goes through, like you can count down, and it's just like something more amazing than just being like, oh, here's the baby. You also have more control because your surrogate signs an agreement, and yes, of course, surrogate's not necessarily going to follow it 100%, but you don't have to worry about the surrogate drinking or doing drugs or anything like that, because the surrogate knows what they're doing. Like, they know they're not going to do that stuff. With adoption, a lot of the times there is drug use and alcohol abuse and whatnot, so you really don't know what you're getting in terms of that. Also with surrogacy, what I like is culturally. I want a child from where I'm currently living, but in terms of culturally, surrogacy is easier because where I live right now, they have their own language, and I would feel obligated to keep that language. Whereas if I make my own kid, whether it's with donor eggs or with my own, I have no obligation to keep any languages. I can teach them whatever the hell I feel like it, because I don't have that must keep their culture kind of thing, because their culture is most likely going to be one that I am or can relate to, or like isn't like different, if that makes sense. Which I have nothing against having interracial families and whatnot. It's just easier, if that makes sense. Also, to go along with that is picking the name. With open adoption, the birth mom would be picking a name, which would probably be a middle name, but still like not having control of your child's name, because it's not really your child, if that makes sense. It's just a little, I don't know, a little weird. With adoption as well, you aren't guaranteed to have a newborn, where surrogacy you obviously are. With surrogacy, there's no must visit, must send letters, must send pictures. Most surrogates, and I'm hoping that if I use a surrogate, I will have this relationship with my surrogate as well, where I can visit with them and can send them pictures and letters. With adoption, it's like more mandatory, and also there's, I feel like, more conflict between it, because the birth mom doesn't have the same relationship with you as a surrogate does. A surrogate goes into it knowing 100% she's not having this child to keep. She knows this is your baby. Whereas birth mom, she carries this child for 9 months knowing it's her baby, and even after she gives birth to it, it's still her baby, if that makes sense. And obviously with surrogacy, one of the great things is I get to choose my donor, so either my sperm donor or my sperm and egg donor, so I have more control over my genetics. I could use my own eggs, which is what I'm hoping to do, not because I care to be genetically related, but I care about cost. And donor eggs will cost me about $18,000. 1/8 or more if I use fresh. That's for frozen, which is probably what I'm going to do. Statistically, it's not as high as a chance as fresh, but it's less work and less, what do you call it? Less worry about timing and stuff like that. And I don't have to find a donor then. I just pick one and buy them online, same as I do with the sperm. So it's just easier. So by using my own eggs, I will save myself a lot of money, because even if it cost me, say, $10,000 to do an egg retrieval and freeze, that's $8,000 that I'll be saving. And I'll have to do a video on my mom, but I feel like my mom would be okay with me doing an egg retrieval. Yeah, because she's not really into the whole adoption thing. I think she was open to adoption when it wasn't an open adoption, if that makes sense. It's just really, really hard. Also with surrogacy, there's no reversal period. So once the baby's born, that baby is mine. There's no like yes, there's paperwork, there's like the declaration of parentage that has to be done, but it's not like adoption where I have to sit in the city for 21 days hoping that the birth mom's not going to change her mind, and on day 20 she does and I'm back to the beginning. There's none of that. It doesn't matter. Also with surrogacy, there's no home study, there's no updates. That's what's killing me right now about adoption is if I were to keep going with adoption, I need more references, which I don't know if I would need different people to do my reference letters, but either way, it was a pain in the butt to try to find people to do my reference letters the first time. Not because people didn't want to do it, it's just I don't know a lot of people. So to get those and like people that I would want to write letters for me, if that makes sense. Not that people would write bad letters, I'm just like people that are in my life enough to be writing a letter. It's just hard to find letters. And then I'd have to do another medical form, and I would need to do another police check, and I have to do that every year. And then I have to do a home study update every year. And then I have to redo my, like, because Shulva passed away, and Shulva's like in all my profile pictures. And I was gonna do an update in January, but I just emotionally couldn't. So I was gonna do it in August when I had my update meeting. But it's like to have to update all that stuff, and it's just surrogacy, there's no updating, there's no nothing like that. It's just, here's your surrogate, or you're waiting for a surrogate, and yeah. The wait times for surrogacy are also less. The one agency I was talking to said I can find a surrogate in 1 month to 2 years, depending on what you're looking for in a surrogate. Which I'm pretty darn open on what I'm looking for in a surrogate, because I don't care. My only requirements are that she's had a child before, and that's just because I don't feel comfortable with a surrogate who has never experienced pregnancy. Not because I feel like she's going to keep the baby or anything like that, but what if she, one, can't get pregnant, or two, has really, really horrible pregnancy. And not to say that if you've had one pregnancy, your next one's not going to be bad, but I just feel like knowing that information would be good. So down below, I will have a link to my blog post regarding the same topic, adoption versus surrogacy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe as well if you want to see more videos. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. I'm using this new website that's really awesome for meal planning, so that I just had all my ingredients for all my meals for the week. I couldn't find everything, but I'll wing it.